this is where it is. Feel the vibe?
I do. It's heavy. It's very heavy.
When they were building the building before that, they were finding soldiers' bones sticking the foundation. My name is Mike Giovanelli. I'm the Director of Visitor Services at the Martinsburg Roundhouse. I'm going to give you a little tour. The Martinsburg Roundhouse was built in 1849. The first roundhouse on this very site. Matter of fact, the inner circle is the turntable, the circle for the first turntable, which is 40 feet. The inner diameter is 40 feet. That was from the first roundhouse built in 1849. Then after the Civil War, this roundhouse was built along with 4 others. Turntable's 50 feet. The one in Baltimore, built in 1899, that's 60 feet, all turned by human. In each of those years, they got bigger because the trains got bigger. This roundhouse is 177 foot by 68 foot 6. It's 16 bays. You could handle 16 locomotives in here at the same time working on them. Just think of roundhouses are a fast Jiffy Lube for steam locomotives. During the Civil War, Stonewall Jackson's orders in 1861 were to come in here and rip up the tracks on both sides and destroy a lot of the property. So when he came in here, he told Garrett, the owner of the railroad, that the trains were keeping his men up. Can he halt the trains at night? Garrett agreed. In turn, he started ripping up the rails. He collected over 300 rolling stock cars and 30 locomotives on the site. In 1862, they came back. His orders were to burn the whole place down. And that's what he did. Then by 1866, after the Civil War was over, 65, between 1865 and 1866, the bridge shop, 2 stories, this roundhouse, and the frog shop, which is on this side, was all built in that year. The other roundhouse on this site was built in 1872, burnt down in 1990 by vandals. I'll take you into the frog shop. This is the artifact room. Very active in here. At some points, it depends. It all depends on the night and who's here. Okay. These are the men that worked here. He just moved. He had to go down. He got a little old. Bill Taylor and Jim Rick had closed up the shop. In 1987, I was getting my lawnmower fixed. I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn, born and raised in Brooklyn. I came out here because I love the history, and my friends moved out here, and I got involved here. So this picture here is the roundhouse. This is the 1849 roundhouse that Stonewall Jackson burnt down. These are called the coal cars. Back then they were called pot haulers. They hauled pot ash, and coal. This is the other roundhouse here that was burnt down. We'll see that outside. This one right here. This is the saw shop. Beware, saw shop.
So real quick, why should we beware of the saw shop?
Saw shop, well, there's a mean guy in there, that's what I hear. I'll tell you a little story. Harris, you're gonna be meeting Harris. This is before I knew anything. I still don't know anything, but Harris says, I met Harris, I was scare acting in the Apollo Theater. And Harris had investigations over there. He has his own company, Mackin. And he said, well, why don't we have an investigation in a roundhouse? I said, yeah, sure, you know. And I'm new, you know, I didn't know anything, I didn't believe in nothing. And we come over here, and we start investigating. I stay in the office. I took him around like I'm taking you guys around. And I'm telling him to beware of this, that, or holes here, holes there. And 2 other women came late, about 12 o'clock. Keep this door open, get a little air. 2 women came late. So another girl, Angel, she's a witch, a good friend of ours. And she was over in this area here. And she comes in the office. Now these two girls are investigating the Roundhouse. One's a medium, one's a sensitive. And when Angel came back in, because I was taking them here next, they asked Angel, anything going on out there? She said, oh yeah. She lifts up her shirt, just got scratched over here in the saw shop. I said, oh boy, here we go. And two girls came in. Okay, you ready? Blah, blah, blah. They took a break and we came out. And we went over here and she's in this roundhouse with the rods.
Dowsing rods.
Right, going back and forth, saying, oh, there's a lot of energy here, a lot of energy. So she's right here, matter of fact, walking back and forth. Inside of that groundhouse. And when they were done here for about 10 minutes over here, I knew something was going on in that saw shop over there. I says, well, come on, let's walk on the other side. And I'm trying to steer them away from that saw shop because I didn't want to go in there. Sure enough, they made a beeline right for the saw shop. She goes in, the other girl goes in, and I'm standing by the door. As soon as she went in, she turns around, looked at me, she goes, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here right now. You don't have to tell me twice. Bing, we're out of there. So I said, well, what happened? She says, inside, there's a mean guy in there. He's still working. He don't want anybody in there. We're in his way. And he was all around me. That's how she goes, all around me like this. He was all around me. Because other mediums tell me that they get mad at me if I don't announce. Like tonight, I didn't announce anybody. So hopefully it's a good night.
So is there anything that investigators tend to do, or really anything anyone does, that seems to set the spirits off? Not in a negative way, but kind of gets them going?
What sets the spirits off is me talking about stuff that happens here. What sets this, another thing that sets the spirits off is people with power. We had a Paracon here. And the mediums were barely affected, the mediums. All the people that had power. Matter of fact, I got a couple of pictures I could show you. I'm in the artifact room during the Paracon, talking with a medium. I forgot his name, really nice guy. And we're talking, I'm telling him what's happening with the witch, with Angel and this and that. And all of a sudden he starts sweating profusely. I look, I said, you all right? He says, yeah, something's happening. He says, look at my neck. I looked at his neck and there was nothing there. And as I'm looking, I saw the scratches appear, 3 scratches appear, as I'm looking. And that's one of the things how I became a believer. You got the Adam Stevens house. Adam Stevens was the founder of Martinsburg. Adam Stevens, in George Washington's day, 1780s or so, he built the Adam Stevens house over existing tunnels. There's existing limestone tunnels throughout Martinsburg, even under here. It was like an underground railroad. Now this is the varmints. You know how many times I sweep this place during the year? Forget it. Forget about it. My New York comes out. Here's the, this is a frog. You had you had points, switches, and frogs. It was all come in packages. They would make them in this shop. A point was the switch would switch. The rolling stock would hit the point would guide it into the frog. The frog would keep the rolling stock on the track it was designated to go. That's how that worked. These frogs were so big back in the day, now they're very small. You don't need them that big. That the inside was manganese. Manganese is as strong as steel, but it's lighter, so you need a little lighter material. This rail right here is one of Jackson's raised rails that his men ripped up. It's got a pear shape on the end. That's one of the historic rails from 1866 that his men ripped up to keep the rolling stock in here. This over here, the coal bins, this is where they used to keep the coal. That's the bins that Stonewall Jackson's men burned down. That's the remnants of those bins. Out here, very busy area out here. That's the bridge shop. Lower part, they made parts to bridges. Upper part is very active. Some nights you don't even want to go up there, upstairs.
What kind of activity are people reporting there?
Well, I had one, during the Paracon, I had one lady over there, I went to open that door, she says, no, don't go by the door. What do you mean? Somebody jumped off here, ran and jumped, didn't make it to the other side, fell and died, and he's up there now, wanting to push everybody off. I never knew about that. I said, well, I never heard about that.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, they're getting active. You hear a lot of stuff here, man, I'm telling you. That coffee fell off the, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was sitting up there
See,
fine.
they're not liking it. See, I should have went around. I didn't want to go around because I wanted you guys to get something. Some nights it's not, and some nights it is, you know? All right, so this building, this is the bridge shop. These are the bridges that were made in here. These are the bridges. This is how it looked before it closed. That's the main office right here. You know, there was metal cutting machines, rivet headers, you know, all kinds of working stuff. This is what the building looked like. Now in this building and the other building with the gravel, this is what it looked like. And if you look close down here, you see the floor. The floor is 4-inch by 6-inch wood block. Right there, you're standing on it. See it? That was all through the floor. And they put that floor in, and they put it on end and soaked it with creosote to make it last. That's the Union Sales Building. Now back during the Civil War, before that building was built, that was used as a cemetery. And how we know that whole block was a cemetery. When they were building the building before that, they were finding soldiers' bones, digging the foundation, and they were burying them. And they repaved over the rest of the site. There was a lot of that in Civil War days.
Do you think they left any bodies under there?
Yes, I'm sure of it. There's a lot of stuff. We scare acted in that building. I was a zombie. It was called the zombie apocalypse. I was a zombie. And that building, when you walk in, it was a Ford garage. And it was like they just left. Like the apocalypse came and they just left. Because everything was still there. The hammer was still there. The jack was still there. The Gojo in the sink was still there.
Wow.
It was creepy, man. We had to build all these walls and stuff. We had a lot of mediums scare acting with us. And they were saying it's very active in here. A lot of them wouldn't come back. Belle Boyd House, green roof. Not this building, the next building. Belle Boyd House. Belle Boyd was a Civil War spy. The soldiers came in and dissed her mother because her mother wouldn't take the rebel flag down. And she came out and shot one of the soldiers. In turn, her father had a shop there, another shop, a candy store, like a store. And the father sent her down to Front Royal. And she went down to Front Royal and rode horseback, back and forth, getting information from the northern offices and bringing them back to Stonewall Jackson and his offices. And she ended up marrying not one, but 2 Union officers and made them change to the Southern cause.
Oh, wow.
We probably investigated here, probably 10 times at least.
Mm-hmm.
And we have yet to come away without any evidence.
Right.
There's a lot of residual energy on the ground. Spring held a craft fair in here.
Yeah.
And I volunteered to be security. So I got to sleep in the roundhouse all by myself. I'm a sound sleeper. Nothing wakes me up.
Right.
3 o'clock in the morning, I get woke up. I see shadows going across the turntable. I can hear voices talking.
So basically, it's like almost like they're working again. It's like they're working.
Yeah. We've got a hobo in the boxcar. We've got a spirit that hangs around the caboose. There's a couple of them. Mike and I both seen the light moving on the second floor of the roundhouse one night.
Oh, wow.
Did it look like a torchlight, a flashlight, a lantern, anything like that?
Almost looked like an old Coleman lantern.
Huh. That's kind of cool.
There's a lady upstairs there, and there's a guy up there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a prostitute up there.
I can find her, Caitlin.
All right. I'll get the guy, you get the girl.
And 2 of my members, a young guy and no fart, they were up there, and it was, he says, knock once if you want me, knock twice if you want the young stud. Right on command.
Right.
And he says, no, knock once if you want the young stud, knock twice if you want me. The artifacts room tends to be very, very active.
Right.
In fact, we've had one psychic that's been attacked twice there.
Are you talking about like scratches or, anything like
Hit
that?
the stomach.
Ooh.
And then they came in here, and a gal who does Reiki tried to pull it off her.
Right.
We watched. She felt a pain in her back. She had one scratch across her back.
Mm-hmm.
And then the group that was here had the movie camera on her back,
Yeah.
and we watched 3 more scratches appear.
I'm wondering if there's something in there that's trying to protect something of its or that is precious to it.
That's what I'm
and
thinking.
It's scared someone's going to mess with it, so it's getting handsy.
Now, we had a guy in here for Jackson's Raid, stopped in and talked to me briefly. And Amtrak, for some odd reason, couldn't get down to the station. And this was probably 5-6 years ago. Well, they let everybody off the side of the creek and they had to walk up here.
Right.
He says they got in the field behind the fence there, the other side of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
They witnessed a Union artillery unit pulling out. And as they started coming up, they all grabbed their guns and started shooting.
Oh, wow.
And they all saw this.
3 people saw it that we know of.
Did they hear any sounds, see muzzle flash or anything like that?
Muzzle flash.
Jesus. And they saw all of... Wow. That takes a lot of energy to do.
I
So
know.
it's going to have to be that running water. And
the
also the
train.
limestone and the train, yeah. All those are 3 perfect conductors, no pun intended.
Confederate soldiers have been seen here as well as Union, which is not surprising being this changed hands so many times during the Civil War,
Right.
and Jackson burned it down.
Yeah.
He looted it the first time, and the second time he burned it.
So what would you suggest us doing to try and get the spirits active, the most activity possible?
I couldn't tell you because it varies from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever works for you, they either like you or they don't, it seems.
Yeah.
The spirits, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of residual energy here, and I don't think there's an area in either of the buildings here that we have not captured in EVP. You can kind of tell, how do I put this, when the spirits go to bed?
Yeah.
They stop
Communicating.
communicating when they're like
The building
wore out.
has a total different feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the Apollo. Sometime between 2 and 4 a.m.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
Huh.
I've been to a few places like that where you
Yep.
get something good for a few hours and then they just stop and then it feels like the heaviness of the building just has been lifted.
Yeah. It's like it turns off like a light
Yeah.
switch. Yeah.